Hey y'all, hey, how are you? So we are back with Womanology podcast. Welcome. And we're just going to get started. How are you all feeling today? So today my emoji is again joy and awesomeness. Like I'm just like I can't say chill because I'm not just chilling laid back, but I am like happy, kind of filled with joy and love. So what about those books that y'all read? Did y'all like All About Love? And did y'all like Love Me More? I know we talked about it, or I talked about it, right? And I said those are the two ones that I am reading. So one particular thing in All About Love is that sometimes we're not taught how to love ourselves, and then we like kind of bleed over to other people. And then when we bleed over to other people, that's how we get these toxic relationships, and that's how we get toxicity. I probably said that wrong. And that's how we get all these other things when we don't necessarily love ourselves. And All About Love teaches us how to love ourselves, but it also teaches us how we need to love others and how we need to, love in relationships, with siblings, and friendships. It teaches us all about that. So that's why I really, really love that book. So y'all talk to me in the comments and let me know how y'all feel about All About Love. I'm still trying to make it through Love Me More. And in Love Me More, you're literally taught how to pour into yourself so you don't seek outward of the love that you can give yourself. And then you already know that I am all about Jesus. So I have to continuously think and tell myself that if this is how God sees me, is this the type of love that he wants me to have? So that's something that you need to think about too. So I was watching the Megan Thee Stallion documentary. Now, I love documentaries. That's something that I've always enjoyed watching. Documentaries and suspenseful films and psychological films and things like that. I love those things, okay? So with the documentary that I was watching, it basically takes place after her mom had passed. So she goes on tour. She talks about the Tory Lane case. She talks about the Tory Lane case, and she talks about, it follows her through, the Grammys and things like that. So it follows her for a quite amount of time, right? So, okay. So some few points that I picked up while watching the documentary. So shout out to the person who produced it. I know it's a Black woman. I will look her up, and then of course, we put it in the comments. But shout out to her who did it. However, I do have some things that just left me like ill for real. So we know that she was going through grief, right? However, when she lost her mother, she was forged or pushed back into the scene too early. And I know some people saw and it was like, oh, she's back on stage. Didn't she just lose her mother? So with the behind the scenes, we see it, and she definitely was put on stage too early. So some things that happened in that documentary, she was second guessing herself on the way that she moved, her dance steps. She was second guessing herself on how she looked. She's a rapper, but she also has to keep a certain cultural, visual beauty aesthetic. And so she was saying like, I don't know if my hair looks right, and I don't know if this looks right. And what do you think about that? Again, asking the professionals about, how she looks and how she's dressed and things like that. And literally everybody gaslit her, except for my fave, Law Roach. You know him, the best stylist ever, except for him. And so everybody was like, no, you're fine. And so when you look at it though, she did need, y'all could have helped her out a little bit. Y'all could have touched her up a little bit. And she felt it, but nobody for real, nobody said anything. And that's what I'm saying. This is why you need the right people in your circle. And then here's the other thing that made me mad about that whole documentary. So again, she's crying out, she's getting upset, she was very irritable, things like that. Rightfully so, because she's going through grief. Then you had people over here telling her, I remember one time, it was like her choreographer coach or her stage presence coach. I don't know what this lady was, but she was like, just imagine all the people that you're doing this for and you can push through it. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, she just lost her motherfucking mama. Like, why are you over here coaching her to get back on the stage when she lost her mother? She going through a whole Tory Lanez case, and you acting like, oh, okay, she's about to be the best dancer of the world. Now, granted, y'all know Megan Thee Stallion is that tea. I know Megan Thee Stallion is, you know, really good with her rapping skills, and she is really good at what she does. But she not about to come on now save the world, and she ain't no like icon, not yet, because she hasn't grown in her craft into that status. So that's another thing that I did not like in the film, because you had all these people around you. You had your producer, you had your coach, you had your other people, part of your team, and not one of them told her to, hey, let's chill. Let's take a step back. Everybody was pushing and pushing and pushing. And you want to know why? The reason why they pushed her like that? Because of money. Because if she doesn't work, they don't get paid. And so it was really for their own selfish reasons. So that's why you really need to keep in your circle, like the people who have your best interests for you. And I hear all the time when it comes to celebrities and when it comes to people who are not celebrities, but you know, people who make a lot of money, who have a good number of financial backing, they keep a small circle in them, so they with them and around them, so they can make sound decisions. And those people tell them like, hey, you know, maybe you should take a step back and rethink this and rethink your choices. And Megan Thee Stallion just didn't have that, what I saw in the documentary. And that kind of like made me mad. Like that like kind of like pissed me off. Particularly because she's a young girl. And when I think about young girls, because I think at that time when they filmed it, she may have been 25. I'm not sure how old she is now. But yeah. But during the documentary, I think she was like 25 years old. And so I'm like, girl, you a baby. You is a for real baby. And nobody is like having your back. And the one lady,
25.
She's 25 now?
No, she's 25 then.
She was 25 then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the one girl that was having your back, and I hate to say this, and we talked about Tory Lanez, I know, and just posted and us did a whole little Tory Lanez thing. And we was right. I knew it. That girl, her ex-best friend didn't say anything because she fucked her man. And I hate to say it like that, but y'all know, ladies, we real grown. You can't be fucking your friends, man. And then think they gonna have your back. Y'all probably gonna come for me, but just be honest. You can't be doing that and think they gonna have your back. And that's what happened. She said it in a documentary. It was a drunken night. They bonded over having lost parents, mothers in particular. They had sex. Her friend found out, and that's why her friend didn't have her back. That's the reason why. She didn't say anything. She didn't say like yes or no. She just said, I don't recall. Meaning that she was just like, she over everything. So don't come to her for it. But you have to keep your circle tight knit. I don't even want to say sometimes small, because sometimes your small circle still be having them little snakes in it. But you have to keep your circle tight knit. And I hate that for Megan Thee Stallion, because during that documentary, she didn't have anybody who worked with her who, you know, said, hey, you may need to take a break, you know, chill out, things like that. She didn't have that. And she didn't have like a friend just to vent and to talk to. She had a cousin though, and a cousin came later in the documentary. But I was thinking to myself, where's she been at this whole entire time? But I don't know. I guess it wasn't. The thing only 90 minutes, so I guess I ain't have enough time to put the whole story together. That's how I look at it. But another point that I want to say about Megan Thee Stallion, you know, is that the mother and daughter relationship. And her mom and her were super, super close. And I hate that she, of course, experienced stuff like that with her mother, but they were super, super close. And I think that's another reason why she struggled in, you know, finding her people and finding the right rhythm when it comes to the business aspect of it, because you know her mama did everything. Her mama, you know, made sure the business aspect of her career was set. And even in the documentary, it's funny, but I can understand it. I guess if I had a daughter and she was rapping, I'll probably be like this too, because you know, if you're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. But Megan Thee Stallion mother, she would be like, you need to rap harder. You need to, you know, put all into it. You need to speak clearer. You know, you need, if you're going to dance to this part, you need to really dance. Like, her mother was really into it. You talk about a momager, that was her mom. But on the other side, not only was she very, she wasn't strict, but very direct when it came to Megan with her business. She was loving to her and mother daughters. I know that's a very hard topic for some women, especially women as we get older and we try to examine our relationships with our moms, and we see how we want to do better with our own children, and then we see how we want to, you know, kind of mirror what our mom did with us, and how we want to merge the two, you know, not necessarily merge, but I guess kind of, merge the two. That's the word I'm looking for. And sometimes one thing that I've learned in mother and daughter relationships, just in my own mother and daughter relationship with my mom, of course, y'all know I got a son, is that in order for it to work, moms need to be more forgiving to themselves and give their daughters more grace. So last time we talked about how we don't necessarily teach our Black girls, women in particular, to give themselves grace, to ask for help and all the things. Remember, we said all those things. But moms need to be the one to make that safe space, so we can, so daughters can come to their moms and be able to speak to them about things that, that are bothering them, or things that they want to accomplish. One mother-daughter relationship that I really, really adore, and it's not a celebrity, it's my best friend. Her and her mom are super, super close, and I love it. And I think it's a really good relationship that most moms and daughters probably will have some envious or some jealousy, because just to be able to freely talk to your mom about anything and have that no judgment. My sisters has a really good mom and daughter relationship with their daughters as well. And I don't want to leave them out. Because when you think about it, women, or little women, they go through things too, right? So they go through bullying, they go through hormones, they go through liking boys and changes and things like that. They go through all the things. And then what better person than to ask is your mom, because she's been through it. But a lot of times you don't, like, where your mama at when you don't have that good relationship. And then you learn other things the wrong way because you don't have anybody to go to. So that's why mom and daughter relationships are like super, super important. I remember one time in particular, and we were at my sister's house and we were getting the girls ready to go to homecoming. And so my one niece, she was just getting dressed and whatever, and she was just expressing on how she's nervous. This is a new school. She's not sure if the girls are going to like her. All the things, just all the things. Now, I remember when I was 15, I wouldn't dare say those things to my mama at 15 because, well, a different generation, I have to say that. But my mama was like, well, if you're going to go or you're not going to go. Because if you're not going to go, then you can stay here and you can just wash dishes or something. She'll always give me a choice, but that's the type of mama I had. But if you're going to go, then go ahead, put your clothes on and let's go, and I'll drop you off. That's literally the type of mama that I had. If you're going to go or you're not going to go. Now, my sister, obviously, like I'm telling you, she did not take that approach when it came to her daughter. She was like, okay, well, we'll do this. We'll stay here. And if you still feel nervous, I'll come and get you. But I at least want you to try it out because I want you to have that high school experience. Like, I want you to be able to experience different types of, high school memories, homecoming games, prom, things like that. And with that conversation, my niece felt more comfortable. She felt like she can just come and talk to her about anything. And even when I'm yakking and talking to my sisters, my niece, she always says like, yeah, me and my mom, my best friend, we're going to do this. And so it's just a really good dynamic to have a really good type of mother-daughter relationship. And it just kind of evolves into something that's really, really beautiful. And I feel that most women, if they would have had stronger mother-daughter relationships, then, you kind of take out that envious and that jealousy, and that anger. We kind of hold anger, and anger is like fear, we kind of hold that in our hearts because of things we didn't get to experience when we were younger. And instead of like giving it to ourselves, instead of giving that grace to ourselves, then, we get mad and we give it to other people, or we don't give grace to ourselves, or we don't give grace to other people. And then you just walking around being pissed off at everything. And that's not cool either. So that's one thing that I really want to mention when it comes to important mother and daughter relationships, and how important it is for us to really, try to shine light on that and make it seem more beautiful than something that's like common. Because all women don't have really good mother-daughter relationships, and sometimes it takes them a long time in their adult years to get a really good mother and daughter relationship. So when you think about your circle, going back to Megan Thee Stallion, remember I said she can have people in her circle and her producers and things like that. Like, her village was trash, dog. Like, when you think about it, it's trash. Like, everybody around you paying. So, of course, they're not going to tell you the truth. Because if they say, yes, you need a break, that means they don't get paid for the 2 months or whatever it is that, they go on a break. And your village is important, because just think about if she would have took her break. Now, in the documentary, I want to say that she did eventually take a little break. Yeah. But just think if she would have took a break earlier, or just think that she would have, kind of chilled a little bit before going back to work, before going back to work after her mother had passed. Just think if she would have just chilled, and how she would have really been able to come into herself as a rapper and not just have to be on survival mode. Because that's really what she was doing. It's just surviving, not trying to think about it. That's how she got into it with this whole situation with that and this and that. And really, she just want to chill and watch anime. And I thought, oh girl, you just really like a for real weird cool kid that just want to rap, which is cute, but you just got fumbled in the mess. So think about the show Girlfriends, right? So I've been rewatching these old shows, and so Girlfriends in particular, and you got Joan, you got Lynn, you got Maya, and you got Tony Childs. So we know how the story goes. Joan and Tony Childs were childhood friends. Joan used to get picked on, and Tony used to, kind of fight off the bullies, and they became friends. And then they both hop, skipped, and jumped to LA from Fresno, which is like a 3-hour, little drive. But they both hop, skipped in front, and they met Maya, and they met Lynn, and they all became really, really close friends. But when you dig deep down inside in the relationship, and how, see that Tony Childs and that Joan relationship, it wasn't serving them anymore. Because Joan learned to speak up for herself, and Tony didn't need to fight anybody battles. And so when you have a friendship based on survival, and then you already learn how to survive out of that, then you don't need it no more. Think about this. I was listening to this one preacher, And he said, if things don't come easy for you, now we're not saying that some things may be a little hard, whatever. But if things are not as easy, things that you like to do, friendships, relationships, if it's not easy, if it's not free flowing, then that lets you know that it is time to give it up. And I'm not trying to say that like, okay, you mad at your man and then all of a sudden like it's not easy, you gotta leave him. Don't be that petty. But what I am saying is like, but what I am saying, boo, it's been 5 years. Y'all argued every day for 5 years. You might want to try a different approach. Y'all argued every day for 5 years. It's not easy anymore. It's just not. So that's when you want to look at things and know that you have kind of outgrown that situation. And God is preparing something better for you. But also you standing in place for somebody else for him. Like y'all both supposed to be away from each other. You standing in somebody else's place, and you got somebody over here waiting for you. And it ain't clicking. If y'all still, beefing, that's what I'm saying about the relationship when Jones start meeting new friendships.
I am Dom with the Uncaped Mama podcast. What can you expect on the Uncaped Mama podcast? Well, one, you can expect me talking about all types of topics related to motherhood and parenting. So things like, things I've already talked about here, right, are going through loss and experiencing loss and rebuilding your relationship with yourself. I've talked about child support and all the issues surrounding that. I'll talk about money and finances. I've talked about self-care for parents. I will have myself, I'll have guests, I will have funny and light topics and also some more serious topics. My goal here is for moms to take their capes off. Be okay with the good, bad, and the in-between that comes with motherhood, and to be able to shape your journey the way that works best for you and your children. You are unique. You are different. There's lots of advice out there and a lot of information you can process. And my goal is for you to determine what works best for you. So that is the purpose of the Uncaped Mama podcast. That is what you will see here. Make sure to like, subscribe, listen, follow, engage with me. I would love to connect with you, and I'll see you on the next.
And she wasn't able to navigate them because, she was still trying to outgrow that little child, that little trauma child that she had protected over the years, which is hard when you have built your identity on it. And then now that your identity is something totally different, you kind of still take it with you. You take that baggage with you, but you don't need to take no baggage with you when you are trying to progress and do better in life in general. And this is not just career goals. This is just friendships. This is everything, because you don't know, like some friendships can be a blessing to you, and people that you may know and people that, y'all can collaborate and work together. And like my cousin said, enlarge your territory, like really cause you to be a blessing to other people if you stay stagnant in one type of situation. And girlfriends are important anyway, because I say to anybody this: yes, when I get married, and yes, my husband's gonna be my best friend, and yes, we're gonna do all the things. I'm not saying that. But your girlfriends, though, your girlfriends are the ones that really be the ones that have your back. Because honestly speaking, the hardest people that I know are the ones that bleed every month. And I'm going to be for real honest with you. Those are the hardest ones. So if you don't have that, and I always get really weirded out when women be like, oh, I don't have no girlfriends. And I be thinking to myself, like, for why? Like, for what? That is a red flag. That's a red flag. Men, if she don't have 2 girlfriends, if she don't have 2 girlfriends, now I'm not trying to say she got to have 7, but if she don't have 1 or 2, then nah. Because that means that who else is she talking to? Who is there? She can't, like, you can't expect your fulfillment from a relationship to just be in one person. It has to be like in you, and then, other things that you experience and y'all come together, because it's 2 whole people in one, what, blah, blah, blah. But yes, if she don't have 2 girlfriends, that is a red flag. Because for women in particular, we thrive from social circles, and we thrive from community. Like, we do so much better when we're in those type of social circles, and we do better when we're in our relationship with our friends. Because I'm gonna give you, for real, an example. It's been times when I have called my girlfriends at 12 o'clock at night, and we have talked because I have had things heavy on my heart. And it has been time they have called me, and we have spoken on the phone for 3 hours up until 12 midnight, because they have had things heavy on their heart. I'm telling you, the hardest people I know bleed every month. So I don't even understand how women don't even have like a couple of girlfriends just right there to be cool and to just like be your sisters. And this is coming from somebody who does have sisters. Love my sisters down. Love them down. But I love my friends too. And so you need that balance. You need that aspect. You need all of that. Because if you don't have it, then you feel like something is missing. And nothing in your life should be, I don't want to say like voided or something that you can't necessarily try to fix. Now, of course, we know financial situations. Of course, we know other things where it's just like it is what it is. I ain't talking about that. But I'm talking about like, girl, if you got somebody just to say what's up to and you don't want to talk to her because she missed a birthday dinner, like go with that. Like, leave that alone. Because it's a birthday dinner. Yes, it's your birthday. I understand that. Yes, I get that. But think about it like this. People go through real shit. So you can't be mad at somebody who just missed your birthday dinner. Now, if it's a continuous thing, then maybe I have a conversation. But if it's like, ooh, I just couldn't do it, or I just couldn't make it, then it's okay. I mean, she's still your friend. She still love you. It's just, it just ain't work out. Y'all, times just ain't work out. And I'm saying from a person whose birthday around Christmas, well, New Year's. I'm a New Year's baby. Who birthday is, so think about it like this. Everybody's either out of town, they done already spent all their money on Christmas because they got kids. We all got kids. Or they just can't make it. So a lot of times, you got to think about it from my perspective. Like, okay, well, I understand you can't make it because of certain things. Life, and people are adults. Life going to be hard enough on its own. We don't need nothing else to just add to that drama. I remember I had told my one friend, my one best friend, it was when I was in this whole toxic relationship, and I was like, no, I can handle it. I can love hard people. I can do this. And so she was like, let me tell you, life is hard enough on its own. You figuring out you can love hard people, and then you love hard people, and then you making your life harder, and then you making his life easier while you loving a hard person. And it took me a minute to get that, right? But when it finally sunk in, then no, why hold on to that? Like, why even continue to carry that? Because you want things to be as peaceful and gratitude as possible. So before we end our little talk today, so I know we talked all about love. Please read that, y'all. It's so dope. I know we talked about Love Me More. I'm trying to get through that. But 2 other books. I know I talked about that little toxic relationship, and I'll probably go back into that a little bit more. But here's a book that I finished up. And it's called Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft. Bancroft. Please read that. Ladies, if you think something, read Why Does He Do That? It is a psychological book. No, it's a book written by a psychotherapist, okay? So in that book, he talks about how he went through multiple types of therapy with men who had minor anger issues to like big type abusive men, and how basically in the book it states like, why does he act out? Like, why is he doing the things that he's doing? And I'm not gonna give it away just yet. I'm gonna let y'all probably like kind of listen to it. You can go to Hoopla and probably listen to it on tape, or you can go to because it is an audio book, so you can listen to it. And I'll bring back some more points from that. But read that, because that's a good one. And then The Body Keeps Score by Dr. Bruce Perry. And a lot of times, remember I told you last time we talked about stress and you're holding in your heart, you can get a heart attack and just a heart failure and things like that. So The Body Keeps Score talks about the trauma that you have been through. And sometimes you feel like you worked through it. You know, your mind have worked through it, like it's over, you dealt with it, but it's still like residing in your chest, residing in your limbs, residing, you know, like in your body. So it teaches you about certain movements that you can go through so you can just release that. One in particular is like sometimes your hips hold a lot of trauma. So it teaches you like, you know, stretches on how to release the trauma in your hips. So yeah. But again, thank you for listening. This is Womanology with Rhea. I think I'll go with that. You know, we still trying to figure out the name. But I said it every week. I'm gonna get it, guys. I promise. And once I get it, yeah, it's gonna be good. But thank you for listening. I'm Rhea. Again, IG is Womanology _podcast. Thank you. Love you. Bye.